As part of my ongoing investment in you and our Better Everyday community, I'm going to share another excerpt from the advisory work that I did for an international group of business leaders. Today's advice comes from the prompting of this question. Explain the concept of system building and how to create a system into a business. Okay, here we go. Okay, we'll understand that business systems are often neglected. We don't do anything about them until things become painful. It's kind of like a dog sitting on a nail. So a guy walks up to an old farmhouse, and on the porch is the old man sitting in a rocking chair, and next to him is his old dog. And the dog is moaning and groaning. So the guy asks the old man, why? And the old man replies, oh, it's because he's sitting on a nail. And the guy asks, well, why doesn't he move? And the old man says, because it's not hurting enough for him to move. And this is how most business leaders operate. Countless business owners and leaders complain about the lack of control they have over their business or the lack of freedom that they have. Yet in the same breath, discount the value of well-designed systems. You see, freedom requires structure. Structure is what makes freedom possible. Structure liberates creativity. It allows it to flourish. Know that freedom without structure is chaos. It's mayhem. But with the right structure, freedom can reign. So operational excellence that powers high performance requires everything to be simple, clear, and certain. Those are three very important words. Simple, clear, and certain. When your team is certain that this is how it's done, and processes are simple and clear, that leaves them free to fly. Here's your rule of thumb, and this is a brilliant one for your notes. You ready? This comes from the Four Seasons Hotel. They say, you want to systemize the predictable. Everything that is predictable, everything that is routine, everything that is repeated. You want to systemize the predictable so that you can humanize the exceptional. When the basic functional operational processes are systemized, then your team is free to bring the needed and very valuable and irreplaceable human touch and contact to client and customer interactions. So there are 5 areas that I suggest that you audit to look to make some process improvements. Okay, you ready? Here's number 1, communication. Number 2 is project management. Number 3 are your documents and data storage. 4 are finances, and 5 are customer touch points. Let me just give you a quick little rundown on each of them. Communication. Remind people that email communication has best practices. Atrocious email etiquette can get out of hand quickly, and it causes chaos, miscommunications, missed deadlines, overall confusion, unneeded stress, overwhelm, and anxiety. And it's a massive hit to your overall productivity. Just think of the amount of time that each of your team members spends on email every day. Now multiply those hours times the number of people on your team, times 5 days a week, times 50 work weeks a year. And now multiply that against your labor cost on an hourly rate. And you will realize that it is a massive number. Don't you think you should spend some time training people how to significantly optimize their performance using email communication? Yeah, me too. Another important system that can get gangly and out of hand quickly and turn into a tangled mess is your project management system. Stuff can get posted, tasks or assigned, and then just sit there, only making you feel shame and stress for the fact that it's not done. And many of those tasks are no longer even valued or a priority, but they still sit there stinking up your screen and making you feel bad and shameful. So I recommend that you assign everybody to do what we call an aggressive pruning. In horticulture, it's called a hard pruning or a rejuvenating pruning. This is when you cut the shrub off to the height of 6 to 12 inches above the ground and allow it to regrow. You've probably seen it when your gardeners have done it in your yard when there's not much but just a stump and all the branches have been sheared off, and you probably freak out like I did and blame them for destroying the bush. But as they explained to me, the advantage of doing a hard pruning is that the shrub rejuvenates quickly. growing back a much healthier and more vibrant version than its previous self, which is exactly what happened. You want to do that with your project management system as well. Cut everything down to the stump. Only the most essential, high-value, vital tasks and priorities remain. Trust me, it'll all grow back and quickly, but hopefully a healthier, more productive version than its previous self. The next is data and financial reporting. You just want to simplify everything. Most of what you are reporting on, nobody's even looking at or even using, but it's taking mass amounts of time to put together. And then perfect the most important data points to make better decisions so that you can take your company to the next level. And finally, are your customer touch points. Since this isn't a marketing discussion, I suggest just focus on the client-facing invoices and contracts and frequently asked questions and promotional documents. Clean them up to make them as simple, clear, and certain as possible. I'd ask you to consider, where can you clean and optimize to create more simplicity, clarity, and certainty, or transactional confidence with your clients? Those are the processes in every organization that exist that are, because this is the way it's always been done. However, just because something is routine or tradition or it's how it has been done does not mean it's necessarily efficient. So look at how you operate everything and ask, how can we make this better? Because if there is a will, there is a way. So in summary, understand that cleanliness creates clarity, and clarity produces productivity and happiness. Cleaning your systems might be arduous, but the end result will give you a more efficient and effective team and make you a much better person to be around when you go home to your family. All right, so now you tell us, what nail have you been sitting on? Something that has been painful, but not painful enough yet, maybe for you to do anything about it. But it still makes you moan and groan constantly. Where do you need to clean up, optimize, or install some new system? Which of these 5 areas, communication, project management, documents and data storage, finances, and customer touchpoints? Jot down some improvement areas in your Darren Daily Journal and confess and declare your commitments for doing something about them in the comments below.